Ends with definition. The ends with operator checks if a string ends with a specified substring. This operator is particularly useful for validating file extensions, input formats, and categorizing data based on suffixes. It is case-sensitive, which means the comparison considers the exact casing of the characters. Scenarios. Example 1. File extension validation. Scenario: in a document upload system, you want to ensure that users can only upload PDF files. The flow checks if the uploaded file name ends with .pdf. Formula: if condition. File name ends with .pdf. Step-by-step explanation. Input data. Retrieve the name of the uploaded file from the user. Condition check. The flow checks if the file name ends with .pdf. Response: if the file name is document.pdf. The condition returns true. Allow the file to be uploaded. If the file name is image.png, the condition returns false. Display an error message indicating that only PDF files are accepted. Example 2. Email domain verification scenario. In a registration form, you want to ensure that users enter email addresses from a specific domain, such as example.com. The flow checks if the email provided ends with @example.com. Formula: if condition. User email. Ends with @example.com. Step-by-step explanation. Input data. Retrieve the email address entered by the user during registration. Condition check. The flow checks if the email ends with @example.com. Response: if the email entered is user@example.com. The condition returns true. Allow the user to proceed with the registration. If the email entered is user@gmail.com. The condition returns false. Display an error message indicating that only emails from the example.com domain are accepted. Example 3. URL filtering scenario. In a content management system, you want to ensure that links to external resources end with .jpg for image files. The flow checks if the provided URL ends with .jpg. Formula: if condition. Image URL ends with .jpg. Step-by-step explanation. Input data. Retrieve the URL of the image entered by the user. Condition check. The flow checks if the image URL ends with .jpg. Response: if the URL is http://example.com/photo.jpg:. The condition returns true. Allow the image to be processed or displayed. If the URL is http://example.com/photo.png. The condition returns false. Display an error message indicating that only URLs ending with .jpg are accepted. Best practices for using ends with consider. Case sensitivity. Be aware that the ends with operator is case sensitive. This means that .pdf and .pdf would be treated as different strings. Make sure to specify the suffix with the correct casing. Input validation. Ensure the input string is not null or empty before applying this operator to avoid runtime errors. Implement additional conditions to check for valid input. Use clear suffixes. Define the suffixes you are checking against clearly. This helps users understand the rules for acceptable input formats and reduces confusion. Comprehensive testing. Test the condition with various inputs, including boundary values, example, strings that end with the specified suffix, strings that do not, and variations in case, to ensure the logic functions correctly. Document your logic. Document the rationale for using the ends with operator in your flows. Clear documentation will help future users, or yourself, understand the logic and how it is implemented. Conclusion. The ends with operator is a useful tool in Power Automate for implementing conditional logic based on string suffixes. By understanding its functionality and applying best practices, you can create effective automation processes that respond dynamically to specified conditions. The examples provided illustrate common scenarios where this operator can be effectively utilized, emphasizing its importance in various applications.